imagine the sheer weight of a father's heart breaking as he realizes his youngest child, the daughter he once shielded from the world's prying eyes, has effectively erased him from her life. Prince Andrew, the embattled former Duke of York, is reportedly standing amidst the ruins of his reputation, but it is not the loss of his titles or the looming eviction from his palatial home that has delivered the final, crushing blow. It is the total and absolute silence from Princess Eugenie. Hello, dear viewers, and thank you for joining us today for this in-depth look into the unfolding tragedy within the House of York. Before we delve into the intricate details of this royal fracture and what it means for the future of the monarchy, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Your support allows us to continue bringing you these detailed analyses of the stories that shape our world. The walls of Royal Lodge, a magnificent 30-room residence that has served as the sanctuary for Prince Andrew for decades, are beginning to feel more like a fortress under siege than a home. For months, the headlines have been dominated by the king's insistence that his younger brother vacate the premises, moving into the more modest Frogmore Cottage. But while the battle over real estate and heating bills plays out in the tabloids, a much more painful drama is occurring behind closed doors. Sources close to the family suggest that Prince Andrew is devastated, a word that carries immense weight in the stoic lexicon of the British upper class. This devastation stems from a revelation that is as shocking as it is definitive. Princess Eugenie has reportedly cut off all contact with her father. To understand the magnitude of this rift, one must look at the timing. We are currently navigating a period of immense transition for the royal family. The shadow of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal continues to loom large over Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, despite his consistent denials of wrongdoing. However, the public's judgment and the institutional distancing by the palace have left him isolated. For a long time, it was believed that his daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, were his last line of defense, his unwavering support system. But that united front has seemingly shattered. Reports from the Mail on Sunday, citing well-placed insiders, indicate that Eugenie has taken a major step that signals a point of no return. She is no longer walking the fine line of family loyalty. She has stepped across it and into a life where her father no longer has a place. The estrangement is so severe that it has been described as Brooklyn Beckham level. For those who follow socialite circles, this comparison is stinging. It refers to a total and public severance of ties, a complete blackout of communication. It is understood that Eugenie refuses to speak to Andrew, and perhaps most heartbreakingly for a grandfather, she did not bring her young family to visit him during the recent Christmas holidays. While the rest of the royals gathered at Sandringham, the silence at Royal Lodge was deafening. Andrew, who was stripped of his military affiliations and Royal Highness style in early 2022, now finds himself stripped of his most cherished role, that of a father in good standing with his child. The contrast between the two sisters has never been more stark. While Eugenie has opted for a clean break, Princess Beatrice is reportedly attempting to perform a delicate and exhausting diplomatic dance. Beatrice is trying to remain a loyal daughter without becoming a social pariah or alienating herself from the firm, specifically King Charles and Prince William. She is the bridge builder, the one trying to maintain a semblance of family unity, while acknowledging the gravity of the situation surrounding her father. But as the pressure mounts, many wonder how long Beatrice can keep her balance. Eugenie, it seems, has decided that the weight of her father's legacy is simply too heavy to carry any further. She has chosen her own path, a path that some observers claim is increasingly influenced by her friendship with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. As we move into the second chapter of this unfolding saga, we must examine the viral trend that has set tongues wagging in London and beyond. Princess Eugenie recently made waves by participating in a nostalgic social media movement, reflecting on the year 2016. While a simple Instagram post might seem innocuous to the average person, in the world of royal optics, nothing is accidental. By joining this trend, Eugenie became only the second member of the British royal family to engage with this specific viral format, the first being none other than Meghan Markle. The Duchess of Sussex had previously shared a video featuring herself and Prince Harry, reportedly filmed by their daughter, Princess Lilibet, to mark the same milestone. Eugenie's participation, though slightly more subtle as she appeared in a post by her friend Natalie Pinkham rather than posting it herself, has been interpreted by many as a public alignment with Meghan's modern and accessible approach to public life. In the photo shared by Pinkham, Eugenie is seen alongside Sarah Jane Mee and the late Caroline Flack, looking happy, relaxed, and entirely removed from the stiff, formal world of the Yorks. This connection to Meghan Markle is not just a matter of social media aesthetics. It runs much deeper. For years, rumors have swirled that Eugenie serves as something of a confidant or even a spy for the Sussexes within the London social circle. She was the first royal to visit Harry and Meghan in California, and she has always maintained a warm relationship with them, even as the rest of the family distanced themselves following the Megxit fallout. By mimicking Meghan's social media behavior and distancing herself from her father, Eugenie is sending a clear message. Her loyalties lie with the new generation and the progressive wing of the family, not with the disgraced remnants of the old guard. For Prince Andrew, this must feel like a betrayal of the highest order. He has always prided himself on the York unit, the idea that he, Sarah Ferguson, Beatrice, and Eugenie were an unbreakable team against the world. To see that unit crumble and to see one of its key members seemingly adopting the tactics of the very people who have caused so much friction within the monarchy is a bitter pill to swallow. The devastation he feels is likely compounded by the reality of his living situation. According to reports in Hello magazine, the deadline for Andrew and Sarah to vacate Royal Lodge is January 25th. The clock is ticking, and as the moving boxes are packed, Andrew is realizing that he is not just losing a house, he is losing his family's cohesion. Let's take a closer look at the fine line Beatrice is walking, as it provides a crucial counterpoint to Eugenie's decisive break. Princess Beatrice has often been seen as the more traditional of the two sisters in recent years. Since her marriage to Edoardo Mapelli-Mozzi, she has integrated herself more deeply into the senior royal circle. She is a counselor of state, a role of significant constitutional importance, and she has been praised for her poise and discretion. Beatrice knows that her future, and the future of her daughter Sienna, depends on staying in the good graces of King Charles and Prince William. However, Beatrice also possesses a deep sense of filial duty. She has been spotted visiting her father, trying to offer support during his most isolated moments. The insider reports suggest that while she isn't in regular or close contact in the way she once was, she hasn't shut the door. She is the one trying to mediate, trying to ensure that her father isn't completely forgotten by history or by his own kin. This creates a fascinating and likely tense dynamic between the two sisters. Imagine the private conversations, or the lack thereof, between Beatrice and Eugenie. One sister is trying to save what's left of their father's dignity, while the other appears to be running as fast as she can in the opposite direction. This split between the York sisters is a microcosm of the larger divisions within the British monarchy itself. On one side, you have the traditionalists who believe in loyalty to the family name above all else, even in the face of scandal. On the other, you have the modernists who believe that the survival of the institution and their own personal reputations requires cutting away the dead wood, no matter how painful that might be. Eugenie's decision to cut off her father isn't just a personal choice, it's a strategic one. She has a husband, Jack Brooksbank, and two young sons, August and Ernest. She is looking at the next 30 years of her life and realizing that being Prince Andrew's daughter is a title that carries more baggage than benefit. The analysis of their relationship reveals that Eugenie was always perhaps the more independent of the two. While Beatrice often sought her parents' approval, Eugenie was more willing to forge her own path, whether that meant moving to New York for work or maintaining friendships that the palace might find inconvenient. Her friendship with Meghan Markle is the perfect example. While the rest of the family saw Meghan as a disruptor, Eugenie saw a kindred spirit, someone who wanted to do things differently. Now it seems she is applying that same disruptive logic to her own family tree. The psychological impact on Prince Andrew cannot be overstated. For a man who was once a war hero, a global trade envoy, and the favorite son, the descent into irrelevance is a slow-motion car crash. To be told you must leave your home by January 25th is a logistical nightmare. To be told your daughter won't answer your calls is an existential one. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is finding out the hard way that in the modern era, royal blood is no longer a shield against the consequences of one's associations. The public's memory of the Jeffrey Epstein links is long, and the disgrace associated with it has become a contagion that his children are desperate to avoid catching. As we approach the final verdict on the state of the York family, it becomes clear that we are witnessing the end of an era. For decades, the Yorks were the rebels of the royal family. Flashy, controversial, but always united. Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, played a massive role in maintaining this unity. Despite her own divorce from Andrew, she remained his closest ally, even living under the same roof at Royal Lodge. She has always championed her girls and their father. But even Sarah's legendary ability to smooth things over seems to have met its match in this current crisis. The York family is not just fracturing, it is disintegrating. It is now every man for himself, or rather, every woman for herself. Beatrice is looking toward the inner sanctum of the monarchy, hoping to secure a place for her family in the streamlined future envisioned by King Charles. Eugenie is looking toward a more global, perhaps more celebrity-adjacent future, potentially mirroring the path taken by the Sussexes. And Andrew? Andrew is looking at the walls of a 30-room mansion that will soon belong to someone else, wondering where it all went wrong. The viral 2016 trend that Eugenie participated in is a poignant reminder of a different time. In 2016, the world was a different place for the Yorks. Prince Andrew was still a working royal. The Epstein scandal was a distant, dark cloud that many thought had been cleared. The Queen was on the throne, providing a stabilizing force for the entire family. In Natalie Pinkham's post, the caption reads, "Oh, 2016, you were special. Turns out the right kind of scroll is good for the soul." For Eugenie, looking back at 2016 might be a way of reconnecting with a version of herself that wasn't defined by her father's scandals. But for Andrew, looking back at 2016 must be a painful reminder of everything he has lost. The mention of the late Caroline Flack in that same post adds a layer of somber reflection. It reminds us that the glare of the public eye can be unforgiving, and that reputations are fragile things. Eugenie's decision to distance herself from her father is, in many ways, an act of self-preservation. She has seen how the media and the public can turn, and she is choosing to stand with those she perceives as being on the right side of history, or at least the right side of the current social climate. So, what is the final verdict? The Yorks as we knew them are gone. The unit has been replaced by individuals navigating a minefield of public opinion and royal politics. Princess Eugenie's choice to cut off her father is a definitive statement that the ties of blood are no longer stronger than the demands of modern reputation management. Prince Andrew's devastation is the price he is paying for a past that he cannot escape, and a future that his children are no longer willing to share with him. As the January 25th deadline approaches, the world will be watching to see if Andrew and Sarah truly vacate Royal Lodge. We will be watching to see if Beatrice continues her balancing act, or if she too will eventually be forced to choose between her father and her future. And we will be watching Princess Eugenie to see if her move toward the Sussex style of royal life brings her the peace and distance she clearly craves. This story is a powerful reminder that even the most prestigious families are not immune to the pressures of scandal and the shifting tides of social values. The tragedy of Prince Andrew is not just a story of a fallen prince, but a story of a father who has lost the one thing that money and titles can't buy: the respect and presence of his child. What are your thoughts on Princess Eugenie's decision? Do you think she is right to cut off her father to protect her own family's future? Or is it a betrayal of a man who is already down? And what about Princess Beatrice? Can she really continue to walk that fine line forever? We would love to hear your opinions in the comments below. This is a complex situation with no easy answers, and your perspectives always add so much to the conversation. Before we go, if you found this analysis insightful, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps our channel reach more people who are interested in these deep dives into royal history and current events. If you haven't already, please subscribe and share this video with anyone you think would enjoy a thoughtful discussion on the House of York. Thank you for spending your time with us today. We know there are many places you could get your news, and we appreciate you choosing us for a more detailed and respectful look at the stories that matter. We will continue to monitor the situation at Royal Lodge and bring you updates as they unfold. To expand further on this narrative, we must consider the broader implications for King Charles III. The king's slimmed-down monarchy isn't just about reducing the number of people on the balcony at Buckingham Palace. It's about reducing the liability of the crown. By pushing Andrew out of Royal Lodge, Charles is making a clear statement that the perks of royalty are reserved for those who uphold the dignity of the institution. Eugenie's estrangement from her father actually makes the king's job easier. It removes the problem of a united York front that might challenge his decisions. If the daughters are split, the York influence is diminished. The Brooklyn Beckham level of cutting someone off is particularly fascinating when applied to the British aristocracy. Traditionally, these families keep their disagreements behind closed doors. They keep calm and carry on. For an insider to use such a modern, celebrity-focused comparison suggests that the younger generation of royals is operating under a completely different set of rules. They are no longer just royals, they are brands. And in the world of branding, you must curate your associations carefully. If a brand, in this case Princess Eugenie, is being tarnished by its association with another brand, Prince Andrew, the logical step is a rebrand or a discontinuation of that partnership. The role of Jack Brooksbank, Eugenie's husband, shouldn't be overlooked either. Jack has always been seen as a stable, supportive figure. His work in the drinks industry and his family's background are solid, but not part of the traditional landed gentry in the same way Edoardo Mapelli-Mozzi's lineage is. This might give Eugenie more freedom to move away from the old guard expectations. Jack and Eugenie have spent significant time in Portugal for Jack's work, further physically and metaphorically distancing them from the drama at Royal Lodge. When we look at the January 25 deadline, we have to imagine the atmosphere inside that house. Royal Lodge is a place filled with history. It was the home of the Queen Mother, a woman who epitomized the never complain, never explain mantra. To have it now be the center of a public eviction battle and a family feud would likely have horrified her. The fact that Sarah Ferguson is also being asked to leave, despite her recent health battles, adds another layer of public sympathy for the women involved, but perhaps less so for Andrew. The viral trend Eugenie joined, the 2016 reflection, is also a clever way of reclaiming a narrative. 2016 was the year Eugenie and Jack were deeply in love, a year before their engagement was announced. It was a time of hope. By focusing on that year, she is reminding the public that she has her own history, her own joys, and her own soulful reflections that have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein or the legal battles of her father. She is asserting her individuality. Meanwhile, Beatrice's struggle is representative of the sandwich generation within the royal family. She is caught between the loyalty she feels for her parents' generation and the demands of the new reign. Her role as a counselor of state means she is legally required to step in for the king if he is incapacitated. This is a massive responsibility and one that requires her to be beyond reproach. Every time she is seen with her father, she risks that status. Yet every time she ignores him, she risks her own sense of family integrity. It is an impossible position. The insider who spoke to the Mail on Sunday provides a glimpse into the emotional vacuum Andrew is currently living in. To be devastated is to be completely overwhelmed. For a man who has often been accused of being arrogant or out of touch, this vulnerability is a stark change. It suggests that the reality of his situation is finally sinking in. He is not just losing his home, he is losing his legacy. He once thought he would be a pillar of the monarchy, supporting his mother and then his brother. Instead, he has become the cautionary tale. The comparison to Meghan Markle will continue to haunt Eugenie whether she likes it or not. In the eyes of the British public, particularly the older generation who value tradition, Meghan is a polarizing figure. By aligning herself with Meghan's vibe, Eugenie is taking a risk. She is gambling that the future of the monarchy, and the public's interest, lies in that more modern, California-influenced style of royalty. If she is right, she will be seen as a pioneer who saved her own reputation. If she is wrong, she might find herself as isolated as her father, but for different reasons. The York sisters have always been close, famously so. They were often photographed holding hands, wearing matching outfits as children, and supporting each other at various events. This rift, if it continues, will be the most significant test of their bond. Can a family survive when one sister is the loyalist and the other is the defector? Or will Beatrice eventually find the pressure too much and join Eugenie in the Brooklyn Beckham style of total severance? As we wrap up this extensive look at the York family crisis, we are left with a sense of profound change. The British royal family is navigating uncharted waters. The transition from the Elizabethan era to the Carolean era was always going to be difficult, but few predicted it would involve such a public and painful dismantling of one of its core families. The story of Prince Andrew, Princess Eugenie, and Princess Beatrice is a reminder that even in the most gilded of lives, the basic human elements of trust, loyalty, and reputation are the most valuable currencies of all. Thank you again for joining us for this 25-minute deep dive. We strive to bring you the context and the nuance that short news clips often miss. Your engagement and your comments are what make this community so special. Please let us know what you think about the Sussex spy theory. Is Eugenie really working with Harry and Meghan? Or is she just a young woman trying to find her own way in a very difficult situation? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us grow and continue to provide this kind of long-form, detailed content. We will be here to cover every development in this story and many others. From all of us here, thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Good night, and stay tuned for more royal insights.